I drive like a girl, like Danica Patrick. Sweet. Like I keep saying, it's the lower battle rank battles that you can get the most enjoyment. At least I do. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's just fast-paced action. Every tank basically has its own little thing. It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. Planes aren't exactly too overbearing, but they can be. If somebody goes on a murder spree and grabs a heavy bomber. Let's try out the French tanks. Hola. Oui, oui. Here we go. You know, I've actually never really looked into Fortnite all that much. But being that it's a free-to-play game, I think, right? I should definitely give it a shot. I mean, I've heard all kinds of things about it, but I think it would probably be a lot of fun. As you see on the channel, I play a lot of Battlefield and other first-person shooters. War Thunder is a game that I've been putting basically years of experience into. So, even though I'm playing the low battle rank stuff, it does take quite a bit of time to level up and patience to get good with some of the planes and the tanks and stuff. So, but it's a lot of fun, man. In my opinion, this game's come a long way, and it's basically a world of tanks and planes and ships all rolled into one. It's truly a good time. But I think I'm gonna check out Fortnite, man. Have you put in a lot of experience into it, St. Louis? Like, have you put in many hours, and what do you think? I don't. So it's not first person, but third person. Well, that's okay. Kind of like a World of Warcraft, perhaps. Yeah, I used to play that long ago. But if it's fast-paced and action-based, you know I'm in. You know I'm in. The long drive up the hill. Probably one of the coolest detailed maps in this game right here. From the air, it looks amazing. I don't mind the cartoonish overlook to it, St. Louis. I mean, I think it's after all meant for a younger audience, but I've played all kinds of games. Yeah, I've got probably over at least hundreds of Steam game titles. And this game, in fact, is free to play on Steam. That's how I'm bringing it to you guys right now. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, build to protect yourself, like Rust or okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. I've seen these games, but maybe like Ark Survival Evolved. That's what Fortnite is. Okay, it's kind of neat actually. Here we go. We're going into the combat. It's not going to get pretty. And there's an artillery barrage coming down. That speeds up his repair time, so he's not, and he needs repairs too. So it's very compensating. Yeah. I'm not even too sure whose artillery that was. I believe friendly artillery in this game does just as much damage as enemy artillery. It's like a feature that, quite frankly, I don't really think it should even be in the game. I don't like it when it's just tanks versus tanks. But nonetheless, we get artillery to bombard our enemies with. Sometimes for nothing. Oh. I believe I'm flying the recon. Oh, that's right. More detailed information for the team to use. Yeah, it's like they get lit up on the map or something, and they can see through all the terrain, all realistic lights. Imagine being in the whole of the battle in this view alone. You know, like you don't really have any way of defending yourself. You're just, okay, I just don't want to die. I'm gonna park here. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. Imagine that in a World War I tank. So, Battlefield 1, the tanks are, in Battlefield 1 are just impressively lumbering machines of death and destruction that are, quite frankly, even just amazing to watch. Even in a games rendition, I can't even imagine what it would be like in real life. So lumbering huge, like living inside the houses and buildings with big guns in the middle, and it's just... Like, if War Thunder went back into the World War I era battlefield with World War I tanks, oh, you better believe it would be all kinds of exciting. There's so many different varieties that they experimented with, even though they did come out, in fact, late in the war. Bad news bears. Bad news bears. Bad news bears. I got treats for you, sunshine. You'll probably run long before that happens, but nonetheless, yeah. The early battle-ranked French tanks, and they can be tough to compete against other low battle rank tanks. Like, let's just say the German tanks, by the way. Like their low level German tank with the auto fire gun, I believe it's a 30mm quick fire. You just get destroyed by those tanks. So that being said, the French actually get some of the best or the better low battle rank tanks if you can make it to like the top tier 2 and stay within a kind of a parameter that you're not fighting like Panzer IVs every time, or T-32s. And the French actually have good dependability, reliability. They got a decent gun. Not exactly long range, but they're probably the hardest early battle rank tanks to play with. Because they just don't get like the lightning quick speed or really good guns. They're just mediocre. The Italians get like all the armor and the good stuff. And the French seem to get nothing. They get nothing. But yeah, I bound the driver's view button, which wasn't normally bound in the key mode. So if anyone was playing War Thunder and they wanted to set this up, just for funsies, right? You'd have to go in there and set it up on the keyboard. It's not there by default. There's all kinds of other stuff too, by the way. Well, when there's nighttime maps, there's a nighttime scope, and that offers an illumination effect when you're scoping at nighttime or in dark situations. It'd be a handy key to learn. eyes in the sky and see how it's all looking, see where the teammates are. You know, I suppose you could be like, you know, Edward Finkelstein and, you know, report on the map and be like, oh, I see them over here and over here, but that's just too much work. And it's just casual, you know? It's just everyone's just playing casual. I mean, teams win, teams lose. It's really just about the grind. It always was with this game. So you gotta find other ways of enjoyment if the casual play upsets you. That doesn't mean it's, as you can tell, the map is struggling to load right now. It's pretty stuttery. It's because it's not exactly optimized for air battle. I think there's lots of assets. The trees are all highly detailed. The tanks are all highly detailed. That wasn't me. So, but it smooths itself out. War Thunder's got a pretty good engine for that. And they have a very neat environmental effect and lighting effect that they seem to keep adding to and making it even more beautiful. I know it's hard to believe, man, because this to me is like top-notch quality for air combat, ground combat, first person, third person kind of aspect. I mean, it's really up to your preference. Some maps load definitely better than others. Hey man, St. Louis, thanks for chilling out with me, bro. This is really just like my daily chill stream. Something that I pop up every now and then. Experimenting with different games and different tune-ups. And right now it actually took me quite a bit of time to get War Thunder, in my opinion, running a bit more optimally than normal. And so I'm trying to give it also the stress test right now. And just see over the course of like about an hour or so how it's going to do. And I'm actually getting pretty impressed so far. So I was going to keep playing probably a few game modes. And if you had any preference as to which one you prefer, land, navy, or air, just shoot it out, man, and I'll play whichever. It's you wish they had more air combat games? Well, what we could do is It does feel like, though, when I hear what you're saying, like the different ratios of like which servers are available, what kind of game modes they're playing. And the variety of different air modes, especially in the casual air battle, it's a bit lackluster. It's like the same maps over and over. And, I mean, it is what it is. It's still enjoyable. As long as the player base, like, you can still get a good arrangement of, like, 12 versus 12 players, then that's what I'm really looking for. When you're fighting the air battles, as you see, I like to zip around through the jungle and play around and just be goofy, but there's only so many hills on some maps that you can play with. Some are definitely more like you have to bomb the targets before they do or you'll lose, and that's like a different kind of experience too. It brings bombers like the Doe 17 into play, making them far more useful. So let's see here. I'm trying to keep it all within the 1.3 battle rating. So, and as anyone who's played War Thunder and experienced the game knows, their battle rating and ranking system's so messed up. It's like they privilege certain players. I'm sure the ones who pay, you know, they get their sweet planes in the lower rankings, and it's like shooting turkey fish in a barrel. Back when I was young, we had Top Gun. It was the only air game I've seen besides a helicopter game. I remember Top Gun for the Sega. Yeah, I'm quite the old console gamer myself. And Top Gun and Afterburner, oh man, like endless hours just like soaring through different galaxies in like an F-Zero type graphics game, just annihilating like hordes and armies of jets and fighters with machine guns and rockets. Truly an amazing experience. Alright, let's get into an air battle. Waiting, so I've got 4 different regions that looks like available for this, and that was quick. That was pretty quick. The HE-112 has a certain finesse to its flying. It's wide wings and basically high horsepower. It might not have the most firepower, but like this thing is about as agile as a Spitfire. It really feels like I'm flying a Spitfire, sometimes even better. Because the real Spitfire in this game is actually kind of too fast for its turns sometimes. And this plane is just that slight dip in the middle. It seems to do something that makes it really enjoyable to fly, really controllable. Perhaps maybe too big of a target. that's never good. 2 biplanes. I basically got tripped by one, and the other guy just took advantage. So, pretty much game over. Game over, don't you know? This is all just window dressing. I mean, eventually they're going to shoot me down, and they know it. Yeah. Those bloody Russians, they've got some good selection. Fine selection of early fighter planes. Well, the Germans get the BF-109, which is... There's so many different types of BF-109s, right? After experiencing the ones that I've played with from pretty much the F-class down, I could say that for a fighter frame, oh, definitely you could set it up with different weapon patterns, that's for sure. They're probably one of the best ever made. However, it's like, it's not a one-size-fits-all. I can see why they really tried to make or break it. And first of all, the early BF-109s, their gun patterns are just atrocious. Like, I find they're one of the hardest planes to hit. They got a needle nose kind of setup. That's supposed to be just accurate, right? And it works. But, I mean, I'm usually just way too busy zipping and diving and trying to get the heck out of the way. That guy's got 4 forward-facing guns. Oh, he's gonna get me! My engine! Oh, I'm done. He got me. Yeah. Maybe I can get a strafe run in before I'm finished. Probably not, hey? Maybe someone will take the bait. Someone did. Hey, you. Tisha. Okay, it's getting bad. Still a valid target. I mean, that guy's got an interesting paint job. Because they still have to take time to, like, my mind is generally at, like, they have to take time to shoot me down, so the more that you act kind of like bizarre and crazy and make them waste ammunition, it helps out in so many different ways tacitly, that, like, I've been in a lot of air battles where there's, like, 5-on-1s, 6-on-2s, like, horribly outnumbered. People usually just think it's suicidal, but that you can pull groups away, you can survive. If you know how to dodge, evade, attack, defend, hit a scoot, what do they call it? Shoot and scoot? Like if you're flying the proper plane, the speed that you can generate is just superior compared to most other ones, and you just got to use it correctly. So there's a lot of tactics to the game that kind of come with experience, really. As you can tell, it's arcade battle mode, so I get that little aim lead indicator. You can play other game modes, but you don't get that. There's other planes inside me. I'm trying to get out of the way. I can hear them all flying around me. It's a really cool experience. Ooh. Did he hit me? I don't think so. Nice. Now that plane he's flying is a 2.3 battle rating plane, and yet here we are, right? I know that we're in the 1.3 battle rank, and that's what I'm saying, is that with War Thunder, it's not exactly a one-size-fits-all already. So it's like, you can find a BF-109 matching up against Yak 7s awfully quickly, and it's like, you can do surprisingly well, but know that it's not always so level. Yeah. St. Louis, it took me so much practice, especially with certain different kinds of planes, because they all have different kind of arrangement of the guns. But it can be very hard to learn how to hit planes in this game, especially when you're fighting a dodgy Jiggly pilot. I'm just not going to name any names, but... the SU-2 for an early great plane to learn to fly and to enjoy in this game is this one. Probably just spoiled with options. Like 4 forward-facing guns, a back gunner, a bomb payload, and I mean you can just keep getting points and research points and whatnot to level up your technology tree for the Soviets. And I mean, as you start the game, you've got to pick one faction anyway. And I strongly suggest either that, Germany, or the United States. They get probably the most variety of early game stuff. Tanks, ships, and air power. Let's try another air mode. Germany? No. It's almost as if you need a joystick. I will say this: I've actually got a joystick, but when you get into the realistic and simulator modes, flying mouse keyboard becomes less tenable. Oh, I need a joystick, you say? Why, it's a bit old, eh? And it's not so sensitive. However, with the arcade mode that we play, mouse keyboard it's heavenly. It's truly just as good. When you get into realistic and simulator modes, they start to take off the automatic features to the game, and you notice it. Like your plane doesn't just auto trim itself to level. You have to manually control everything, and it can be pretty entertaining. Yeah, it can be like this game in arcade mode. It really holds your hand for a lot of stuff. It kind of indicates that on the left there, where it shows the stats for your engine, your oil, and all that. It's like when the instructor or INST shows up, that's when autopilot's kind of taking in. And the cool thing about War Thunder is that you could practically bind a key for almost every function on the plane, including trimming to certain degrees, percentiles. Almost similar to a game called Elite Dangerous, where you have so many different ways to button map for all these other features and things, that the combination of mouse keyboard, even with a joystick, it can lead to a pretty serious affair. Obviously the joystick's for controlling the plane, but the button mappings with the keyboard, it's all about like setting different trims if you're attacking ground targets, just really getting pretty serious with it. And a lot of videos on YouTube are people's own setups of how to set up their War Thunder games, and it's really interesting to watch. Actually, a lot of people have different ideas and cool ways, cool controllers, cool layouts, I'd say, and they can look pretty awesome actually. Yeah, my Wii controller's an old Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. It's like rusty, man. Literally, they're like flaking off the rust. No, I'm just kidding. It's made out of plastic. Pay attention to the map. Why? What's going on? So, anything. I'm really just forward escort for a potential bombing run. Here's one. He's aggressive, all right. What you doing, mate? He's got 2 on him. Tell I've got a bit of a play style here. I mean, if they're unawares, it's just distracted them long enough for a teammate to get a critical hit on him. He's not necessarily tried, tested, and true, but it's more out of desperation. If he's aggressive enough to try and get the kill, then I'm more than happy to oblige this guy with some extra points. But it's just generally like, it's about surviving. Yeah, when you fly, when you're going at 450 kilometers an hour, it's really just about surviving. That's all that I really concern myself with. Because it's just, you can't really comprehend how many planes are coming at you and stuff. You just gotta get, it's about getting out of the way. It's like playing Frogger while shooting at things. So, I mean, with the mouse keyboard controls for arcade mode of War Thunder, if you or anyone listening get a console or a way to play mouse keyboard, even on Xbox, PlayStation, I strongly recommend it because this game is fun. This game is really fun to play. And it takes a bit of practice to get good with like the certain rudder controls and basically spin the plane while being in complete control, I might add. It takes a bit of practice. It would probably be a lot of fun to learn on a PlayStation 3 controller, let me tell you. Meanwhile, the boys is mopping up bases, right? They're doing some heavy damage on those bases. That's how you win games, especially in these air-land battles. You go for targets like pillboxes and bases over there, the big reticules. Screaming eagle right here, coming in hot. Ooh. Probably knocked out the pilot. Yeah. In case someone who might have noticed or been watching for a while and is like, why do I always play arcade mode? Well, isn't it obvious? It's because you get way more speed. They boost your speed, the agility, and like they really soup it up a bit. When you're playing simulator and realism mode, the feeling of flight is still real, but at the same time is also so much more scary. Like you have to control so much other action of the plane, and it can lead to some pretty harrowing, cool dogfights actually. But with the way the War Thunder engine works in arcade mode, it's like the best. It's just the best. So much fun, so easy to jump in and just play a few rounds, play some round battles, get into a nasty dogfight. Good stuff. Tag, you're it. Oh, I missed it. Hey, Pop Smoke, the international sign of dude, chill out, it's me. Oh, jeez, you know what though? This guy's gotta go. He's flying a Hurricane. Things are deadly. Excellent agility, and they're a small plane, by the way. They're not as big as the other ones, so they're harder to hit. Give him a little bit of the crazy 8. Whoa. See, there's a little bit dodgy. Oh boy! P-38's got my back. Oh, save him, save him. Oh, no. Two Spitfires now on me. P-61 and its brother, the EO. This is the Otsu, I believe. No, this one's the EO, and the brother is the silver one, the Otsu. My favorite, the 2.3 battle ranking. That's, without saying much. Yeah, they're so enjoyable to fly. Just excellent horsepower, firepower, a good all-around American, Japanese fighter plane. Oh boy, here's the turkey shoot. Yeah, that's what happens. It's hard to stay. For many players, it's hard to stay aware of everything. And when you're on somebody's tail, that's exactly when you make the easiest target. Because I know that you're focusing on that target, you're trying to fly straight. These guys want me dead. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, this might be it. The final ride. Beautiful graphics on the ground. I mean, all the grass and the trees are just detailed. So cool. Yeah, that's pretty much about it for me. Yeah, you got my tails. Or is it? Yeah. Also, being that it's arcade mode, you can survive most actual meeting combat, because I mean, the game, like, you in simulator and realistic mode, your engine can run out of oil, fuel. You get your fuel tank up. It all tries to be as simulator as possible, and it definitely obliges to that environment. Where I play the game in arcade mode because of the speed of it all. You don't effectively take a few bullets and then just lose your bird. But this game definitely, in the arcade and simulator mode, it can be very much like that. Some would call it frustrating, but yeah, all of that and I crashed pretty much, man. It's the fate of the gunfighter, St. Louis. It's the fate of us all, you know. And this little beauty right here, this is actually one of my favorite bombers in the game because it has this gun called the Music Schwag. It's this top-mounted, I'll show you, top-mounted cannon that's forward-facing, and lots of players don't realize that you have that kind of firepower, thinking that it's a blind angle, so they'll come and approach, and it can lead to some pretty exciting dogfights. I'll show you. It's also got a cannon for a forward-facing main gun, which is kind of interesting. You can blow up light tanks and medium tanks with it. Maybe even long-range fighters. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, just a little bit too nimble. No, don't crash, don't crash. Oh, I was too fast. Okay, I gotta get into the action. Action Jackson. That wasn't good. It was really just the time lost, because meanwhile, their team is trying to, like, gain altitude and, I'm sure, eliminate all as many ground targets as they can to try and win by points. Yeah? Like this guy. Because it's going to take longer for our boys to get him, and he knows it. So I believe he's even heading for base. Trying to eliminate that base right there. Oh, nice. Good stuff. As wounded players, they get into dogfights and they basically kill 3, 4, 5 guys. It's all good, right? Because what happens is they end up getting trapped into valleys and things, and they can't get any higher. So they just end up becoming bird bait anyway. But I mean, these are things that you notice after playing many hours in the game, and you start to study how people play the game, what happens in the mid-range of the game, what happens later in the end of the game. I've had some excellent battles in War Thunder that have went like right down to the 20-minute mark. Everyone else is dead except you and maybe another teammate and like 3 other opponents, and it's like nobody's wanting to give up that flag. Like everyone's fighting real good. So you can get a wide range of exciting gameplay from War Thunder by like even just playing a little bit smarter. Don't go running in like basically like me, but to fly high and to observe and basically pick off the bombers and stuff that are going for long distance targets. It's an excellent way to play the game. Once the Japanese plane starts burning, it's generally game over. So you're mostly just wood anyway. You like the cockpit mode, St. Louis? Yeah, it's a bit intimidating for me, but it's obviously the most enjoyable. You got the coolest views, experiences. It's the best, man. Perhaps a pro lead pilot out there will end up be streaming cockpit view, like virtual reality quality. Somewhere out there, a War Thunder pilot daring enough to do so, while taking on players in the auto battle ranking system. Let's go back to Germany. Try and take it back down to a lower battle rank, because this fights against the biplanes. It stays within the lower battle ranking, and so you open up to a whole other world of other players with basically more of an advantage than you, because you might think that these German planes actually have an advantage over the biplanes. Quite not, actually. The old biplanes can carry more weapons because they're effectively lighter, and they don't need as much larger engines. The Germans here are using steel and heavier airframes for a lot of these planes, obviously increasing the need for a higher power engine to offset and to compensate. It can lead to just a different feeling plane altogether. This plane in particular, it basically comes with all these bombs. There's nothing I can really do about it, and it's about as comparable as any other top-notch biplane of the day. But like the Swedish, the Russians, and I think you say the British with the Gladiator, right? And the Chinese by extension. They get some of the dopest biplanes. Fun to fly, high horsepower, high agility, high armor. They can't compete with super fast American P-400s, but you don't need to, not when you're flying at a low battle range. The sound of the engine is already intimidating enough, It's just, you can't really hear much else, especially other planes around you. It's just too loud for your own engine. That's what I get for going third person too, right? Arrgh. Pretty cool hairball that we all got ourselves into. I love biplanes. It's just a whole different flight era. We were all so gentlemanly back then when horsepower wasn't taking us to Mach 2 with the dive. Some of the Russian planes, by the way, the Yak 7s and Yak 9s, they're just masterfully pieces to fly. So fast, high firepower. I mean, when it comes to the later game World War II feel, you probably get it the fastest from the Yaks, because they're an amazing fighter plane. Truly a devil. I left that guy alone. He's gonna have some backup anyway for some trouble. So I'm gonna try and find bigger pastures. Yep, this is the very same game where it has 3 game modes, and it's land, air, and ship. And so yeah, I also play the ship mode from the same game. Ah, he got my tail. That was it. I was about to spin out of the way, but he just clipped my tail. So, I pretty much can't do much else. Sorry, St. Louis. What the fuck is what? I didn't actually catch what you were referring to. But, yeah, this cockpit mode, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, it looks cool. But, dude, I get paranoid. Because I'm just like, they're on me. I feel like they're just shooting at me and I don't even notice. It's fun, though. It leads to some pretty exciting, cool-looking dogfights. Was there any game mode in particular you wanted me to try out right now, St. Louis? I've got land ready to go. I believe we've even got Navy somewhere in this mix. Let's try out the USSR's Navy if we're going to play a game. I'll show you basically just how fast. This is the the first ship that you can get, and you get it for free. You don't have to buy anything. And it's like, I think the fastest as well. Let's set up my my team. Oh, nice. By the way, these planes, they get access to like rockets and bomb payloads and stuff all super early, so it can lead to some pretty exciting Navy dogfights. I-15WR. And because it's going to be tank arcade battles, let's go to Navy arcade. So it's still going to be 1.0, and that's because, let's take a look here. Send a holiday. Yeah, all my crews are reserved ranking, but still it gives me a 1.0 as a default. So you can choose a 1.0 plane, such as this guy, and it shouldn't up the battle ranking, even though it doesn't even matter. War Thunder just pits you against anybody. I try and be fair. I don't know about you guys. Sorry, I'm just throwing out a little bit of grift towards War Thunder's direction there. Not that I mind. It can just lead to some pretty overbalanced matches, which I'm sure that some players probably complain about. They go to the forums and they complain, and nonetheless, if you had a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, an Xbox 360, and you've got access to the internet, you should be able to download this game for free and be able to play this game with me right in the online mode. Like, we're actually competing, we're flying in the same squad. At least War Thunder has that. It's called cross-platform. I play against PlayStation players and Xbox players all the time. And some of them actually, they kick my butt. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of neat. I think it's hilarious that there's some sweaty players just rocking it out on the console while I'm getting all sweaty on the PC. All right, here I go. We're going to go to C on the sea. It's going to get pretty greasy, I'm sure, but let's do this. The Minesweeper is the big guy, and I believe he's firing big shell at me, so I gotta put on the dances for him. Yeah, I think that's an R-35. Go, 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 go! I'm on fire. Nice. You see, the high horsepower and speed basically zip out of anything like a rocket ship, right? Especially while on the water, while they're all moving at clunky 50 kilometers an hour, while I'm like zippity. It's kind of cheese, but hey, I guess I don't exactly get the same armor and payload as other ships, so I think it's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. Oh, hey, don't crash. So we decided to not go to C and try and pressure them perhaps on A, pull away a few from the mob, make it easier and easier to attack with just small numbers that we have. Yeah, here one. There he is. Two. Eliminate him quickly so I can take care of the other guy. Now, I move a lot faster than his guns traverse, and I know this, so I'm going to go wide. Wait a minute, where are my bullets? Come on. Ah. Hi, Crate 1239. How you doing? Oh. Oh boy! Don't really have much else to defend myself. One down. Oh. Yeah, I'm playing arcade battle mode, some Navy arcade right now, Crate. Getting tooled up a little bit, but hey, you know, just them's the breaks, you know? I did notice that earlier, the servers for War Thunder were having their problems logging people in. It was some kind of issue with authenticating accounts. I'm not too sure how common that's been lately, but I can see a lot of people are getting a little bit salty on the forums. No big deal. It just took like 40 minutes or something to kick back on, so that if it does shut down, it's been some kind of issue that's going on lately with the Gaijin servers. So far, so good. Hey, who's taking pot shots? Let me just like slow down this rocket ship on water. This UFO on the high seas. Oh, an OD-200. OD-200. These guys have excellent air power, anti-air capabilities. Generally wise to hang around them and just chill if you're ever in like a capture the base scenario. Like this one. That guy's actually a lot closer than I'd like. Okay, and I see more backup on the way. That might dissuade them from progressing upon this path of horror. Meanwhile, this guy's keg is nice and tight. I can see his back gunners trying to trail at me. Both of them are nice. Pop at any moment. I gotta get the heck out of here. Dragon 2 with me. Totally just saved that JU-87. Yeah. Oh, damn. That was quite the action there, but you know what, alas. They beat us on attrition. They just pushed the flags. And, I mean, it's a winning strategy. And when you can get chain reaction win combos, like, your team loves you, you know. It's all about grinding the points in this game. For me, I mean, I just enjoy it for the World War II era vehicles, experiences. I mean, simulator mode is pretty exciting because you can do the whole landing takeoff stuff, and I'm pretty sure that when carrier combat comes into it, that's where it's going to be as well. But yeah, I'd say for any casual user, this game's still enjoyable. It does take a long time to level up enough to be able to get to the different variety of planes, and of course there's many factions of which to choose from. I suggest choosing either Germany, the United States, or Russia, as they get probably the best early game selections. Peppered, but he's still flying. Oh, a fair mile. He's a big guy. And the ad live by his name indicates that I believe that fellow there is a PlayStation player. And he's actually sailing. He's got a pretty decent level ship playing on the console. It's indicated by his tag there. So that's pretty cool. I don't exactly remember what the Xbox ones are called, but it can lead to some pretty, well, I mean, this is pretty much on average how many players play against, but nonetheless, there's thousands of people playing right now, and it's just a free-to-play game, so you're always going to find something. S38B, he's going to power, yeah, he's got a really decent deck gun right there. Oh, I killed something? Well, there you go.
We suffered a defeat. Head back to base.
Oh, no way. Navy mode is always it can be pretty much over quickly because it's just like the the land battle mode, where you just gotta take bases just like Battlefield or something like that, and then the timer ticks down. But the way the attrition works in the game can lead to some pretty like interesting math, where you're sitting there wondering like, well, dude, where did my tickets go? That's just my opinion, but it's certainly not an exact science, not yet at least. Now, when you put in a position like this, it looks like everyone's going to be spawning in the same spot because just the way the auto spawn works. Like, maybe 2 people, right, got to the other side, whereas everyone else got here. So you split up and you can lead everyone towards different objectives by just, like, having everyone follow the leader. But on maps like this, if we split up and we take the other bases, then we're certainly defended against, say, them trying to rush our bases, bringing down the attrition bar, the red bar and the blue bar at the top, ending the game prematurely so that, you know, they can catch us off guard, so to speak. Offside even is probably the more accurate term. Because it's very much like a sports game at this point. You just take the bases, hold them long enough until the enemy basically runs out. Ouch. Too many people went to A, which is fine, and only 2 people went to C though, which is not good. Which is definitely not good. Not for the 2 guys that went to C, or the 3. So they're gonna need some backup.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Like right away. Wow, that's a lot of mass.
Zones are under control.
Not bad for scale in combat, though, right? I mean, it's probably about 12 versus 12. What did we got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 12 versus 12 players just slugging it out right now on a small map, but big enough that we can all get good wide shots on each other. And it's pretty neat. I mean, War Thunder's scale of combat is pretty unique, isn't it? You just pit them all together in an attrition battle. Sure, it might have seemed like suicide to charge that fair mile, but if you can get in with a torpedo or even a couple of depth charges, you can set off a chain reaction explosion. If any of their friendly ships are nearby, the larger ships, when they explode, they're going to take them with them. It's kind of terrible to watch. You can, and I believe, like, just as if with tanks, you can hit different vehicles and certain components, like ships. You can hit them in the fuel hold, the ammunition, doing all kinds of, like, damage to the subsystems and the crews. It's quite the detailed game, actually. It's called War Thunder. It's free to play on PC with Steam, or on, I believe, any PlayStation 3, 4, Xbox One, or Xbox Live, or Xbox 360. If people are still rocking those old nostalgic systems these days. shoot and scoot, if you know what I mean. Because all it takes for me to go down is pretty much one good volley from any ship. But as you can tell, the forward-facing guns on this guy are pretty amazing, so staying alive is always good. He's dead. There's just so many of them. Oh, I thought it was down there. Maybe he just got a little bit too low to the ground, but I'm pretty sure he hit me with something. Oh boy. So they're bringing heavy bombers to the battle. Yep, by the way, Crate, this is all, if you're still chilling and just hanging out, this is all actual live gameplay right now. I am playing live, bringing it to you live right now through OBS, man. We are playing live in the arcade battle mode of Navy action. It's just pretty much just some War Thunder Funday action, switching between the game modes. I have no particular agenda. I'm not trying to like level up or reach a particular goal, just to explore some of the early battle lives and play with some of the player base that War Thunder has to offer, which is immense actually. There's probably at least like 20,000, 30,000 players playing right now, playing on a variety of different game modes. But yes, we are live, sir. Those MTV-1s, they're kind of like my favorite lower rank battleship or combat ship. They have excellent firepower. They've got like excellent two torpedoes, which is pretty standard, but they're bigger, and 6 depth charges for maximum poundage. I wouldn't want to go to battle without one. They're just amazing for every occasion and situation. And then you fight somebody like this, the PR-123 Biz. A bit more of a later game Russian ship. High armor, high maneuverability, high firepower. Against some of the lower ranked ships, it's just a no-brainer. It's a higher level, more effective combat ship. Easy peasy. Maybe you'll try out a land battle now. I was happy with the way the game was loading through too. I noticed that I was still getting a bit of the stuttering, which I've been trying to isolate and fix with the game. It's not really gonna go away. Oh, just a second now. Moser Dozier on YouTube asks me, when's next protest? Triple question mark. I mean, Greta's busy these days. Jeez. I bet you I feel like there's one going on right now. I feel like there's something that I should be ashamed about. Greta. Hello, how are you doing? I found your King Jiggly Twitch channel. Thanks, Mega Cornelia 89. Yeah, I've actually made so many different kinds of Twitch channels that I tried to link with this account, and I'm glad that you found me. I'll probably end up having to change that name soon enough to get something a bit more like Pitch Silence, or I try and do an Epic Rants and Games kind of thing. With this sweet microphone, there's almost no reason why not to get in there. Oh, you're about to do a graphic design for my stream. Why, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's just open range, open free source right now, and it's just a fun, chill stream. Just something we can hang out and just explore the lower ranked battle rank system of War Thunder. Playing against, how many people are playing right now? How many people do we have? 41,505 other players. Apparently, they're already at sea. They must have really scoot a boot in order to get over there. So, give them a bit of that old rain of death, and we'll see what happens. There's one.
Enemy forces have captured a zone. Enemy forces have captured a zone. Enemy forces have captured a zone. We are losing. Allied forces have captured a zone.
Well played, sir. You caught him with that torpedo. That was excellent. going convertible for this one. Oh boy. You know, you go around one corner and there's like 8 of them. So on the right side there, it looks like all of their big, heavy lumbering ships smartly have decided to go to sea by creating a really dangerous flotilla. And while not very maneuverable, they don't need to be. They're just going to basically shoot everything that comes into the pond. So, if we're going to win this game, don't feed the lion, feed the meat that it needs. Instead, you have to play cat and mouse and a few other really simple strategies to keep the opponent at least guessing, because they might not be organized, but instead they still have high firepower concentration. So, I mean, whether they know that or not is something that you can also exploit as they can.
We've captured most of the strategic zone.
And so, being basically a light battle ranking ship, something in the early battle ranking, you get more versatility, more variety of different high speed, not necessarily firepower, but like action. Like you get depth charges and stuff and other things to play with. Oh no, I don't want to. I'm not trying to beach myself, but I totally did. That's it. Hey, it's too busy trying to play cat and mouse with myself, I guess. While not the best vessel to try and do hit and run tactics with, the G5, I mean, it's certainly one of the fastest vessels. You can have a lot of survivability, surprisingly, especially with air, big ships shooting at you and stuff. The G5 is a great ship to learn to practice with. It's just that main gun; it's a little bit tricky. Right to the base. He knows what's up. He's a high priority target. I blew myself up. Well, and he shot me as well, but fair trade, I'd say. They are taking A. They are just running away with it. No, not really. I know that there's a majority of them still at sea. So, we're going to get them. We can still win this game. We just got to play it smart, like, you know what I mean? I'm glad you're back, St. Louis. It's good to see you, buds. Look at this guy. Wilding out, we're all huge in my zone. He's got his big buddy right there beside him. Okay, if I do this right, it's one torpedo, one target. That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. Ooh, I didn't want to do that. Ouch. No, that's definitely not what I wanted to do. Oh, you like the ship, St. Louis? Sweet. Good, we just got into this. I'm not too sure if I'm going to go Russian again, though. Yeah. In fact, I just like a ship with a bit more depth charges. Even just like 2, 3 of them, 4 of them. Something you can kind of use as a melee, like bundle of grenades to throw at your enemy. Because I'm sure they did that kind of weird stuff, man. I mean, basically, if you could imagine a video game being close to reality, I find myself surrounded by the enemy way more often in the Navy mode than in any other combat situation. And first and foremost, that feeling of like terror and panic is something that you got to deal with right away, because there's so many of them, and some of them are shooting at you, and there's a lot of chaos. It's really just like a lot of disorganized chaos. So you can take advantage of that by surviving. And a lot of players like to complain about the smoke. And you can drop the smoke at the back and effectively use it to like get in and out of all kinds of messed up situations, protect your allies that are repairing. Oh, cool! It's got the Navy one. Sweet. So, yeah, just getting used to the how the battles work in this game. It's not fair at all. I wouldn't expect. That's ultra scary looking. What kind of ship is that? This one, I think you're talking about the Russian one. The Russian one. Oh, just a second, my man. I got the C, the 1, and the 2 can go here. So it's ready for Navy combat. The scary looking ship, I'm sure, was this guy. The Boot. We could take the British one. He gets the best arrangement, the best weapons. Oh, no, we're going in as air battle? No. We are not going to take air battle. We are going to deploy the Swordfish, the mighty airplane that apparently sunk the mighty Bismarck in a calamitous affair that involved a lot of probably patience, training, and just damn good timing on the part of the pilots. I believe the weather was bad. They took advantage of all the elements of surprise on a Bismarck battleship, pocket battleship even, which by no means was defenseless against fighter planes. It had more guns than you could imagine on that thing. And still, this brave soul flying this World War I era biplane manages to torpedo the Bismarck in a particular way that leaves it effectively just running in circles out on the high seas, which led to its untimely demise. That's war for you. That's the only way I could explain it. It just is. I mean, as long as you can deliver a payload to target, it's still considered warfare. So, survivability is like its own philosophy, it seems. That some nations in this game, they don't really put much emphasis on armor at all, and other ones put way too much. Usually at the cost of something, I might add. Speed, durability. So, I mean, they all have their own fine tweaks and balances. It really comes down to how the individual player uses that vehicle. A self-propelled gun, though, isn't a battle tank. And an MTB 1 series isn't a super class Star Destroyer either, so I realize I'm a bit suicidal at the game. Like, I just run right into targets. I'm just crazy. I'm throwing out rockets. I'm blasting them with grenades. I'm doing triple backflips. I'm doing barrel rolls. I'm doing all that stuff. But, I mean, as for playing this game, War Thunder, I mean, I probably put years of experience and practice into it, trying to level up many different accounts, in fact. And if you knew much about War Thunder, how frustrating that can be when you have one account that's stolen or hacked or whatever after years of money and just timing, right? Just time invested. So it can be super frustrating. As with many games in this era, it requires a bit of an online presence. And you gotta set up an account and things. It's understandable. With Gaijin, however, if you set up an account through them and you make it so that all of the platforms can effectively see your account, it's something at gaijin.net or whatever, and you're locked in, you've made an account with them, and then it makes it easier for you to say take your account from your PC version and play it on Xbox or PlayStation. I believe you can do that. I don't see any reason why you couldn't. So he's a nasty target. He's an R35 or an R31. He's gonna start shooting a big gun at me, which means I gotta get out of the way. Give him a bit of that zigzag, you know? Hey. Alright, you're gonna get it. Bear in mind, this is 8 Lewis guns facing forward. It's just a bit of a wonky angle, as you can see. I gotta hit it sideways, like an old school battleship, like a 18th, 17th century ship. But it has certainly the most firepower facing forward. Maybe not the best reload time. Oh, going down. Those L3s, man, they're great. It's too bad though, I didn't get to use any of my depth charges or anything.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Enemy forces have captured a zone.
So, you look at the map and you think to yourself, C's looking pretty greasy. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't like the look of them apples. Well, you could say run all the way to B like this individual is doing, and that's gonna get you some good points. And the problem is that the battle will have been shifted like a football game or something. All the other players are down at the other end of the field. I mean, there's just no way for you to really actively get back into the action in time. So, I've considered it, and after long consideration and deliberation, trying to defend at sea is pretty much our only friggin' option at this point, as the enemy team rushes into them like a horde of gibbering masses of orcs and goblins from any kind of fantasy realm that you could think of. Just like an endless wave of evil soldiers that just like, you know what I mean, they use evil spells, they got artillery and that, something kind of like that, but with World War II vehicles and vessels. The worst part about it is, like, you could be this one guy and go into the base, and War Thunder is the kind of game where a guy flying a heavy bomber could totally have you zeroed and just blow you up, and all that time was basically for nothing. For nothing. So you gotta play it smart. You gotta be smart, like me. And if you sail with your other teammates, basically you're less obvious of a target. And ultimately, it's like, it's a Hail Mary pass. If you do take B, then you win by attrition somewhat. No big deal. It might even be better just going for the defense. So, the more you know. It's good to be behind the Higgins, by the way. He's got those 2 extra forward-facing guns. Look at this fellow. Oi. Oi. He's a problem. He's a big guy, so these bullets that I'm using aren't exactly going to do much damage to such a huge hull. But nonetheless, I can definitely put a lot of firepower downrange. Oh, steering shot.
Another zone captured. We have the advantage.
I might get to use these depth charges after all. I can't control myself. It's just me spinning in a circle right now until the fire burns out. Oh, I can regain control. There we go. Let's see what I can fly. He's pretty beat up. The swordfish? Not necessarily. Swordfish flies too slow. You're just basically just flying meat on a stick. So let's choose a dog. shooting back. I can hear him. We gotta get out of here. All it really takes is just basically a few good bursts from those guns and I'm done. So, I'll try and play it safe when you're playing the air battle, or I'd say that the land battle with air is fun. Like when you're fighting against tanks, it's certainly tactical in its own right. The pinnacle of it is certainly the sea battle, though, because all those ships have like very high quality anti-air, and it leads to a much more matched playing field. A little bit too close for comfort. This guy's running at that pace. High priority target. Oh, I don't want to do that. Stop. For as good as I got their ship, they should have sank. They can take a lot of punishment if the deflection isn't right and you don't get a lot of good piercings. Oh yeah. Some ships can take a good pummeling, and also with the planes, their machine guns aren't the biggest when you get onto the ships. Well, I guess the tanks too. The tank's main cannon is really the only thing that's comparable. The ships have some of the best different variety of machine guns, light machine guns, anti-aircraft guns, and St. Louis, when I show you some of the later game ships one day, like the larger Corvettes and things, they're so amazing against everything. They're like a, more intense purposes, like a weapons armada by themselves. Like it can be like any plane is at a disadvantage to take on these ships, and so you got to get a little bit deaky, a little bit dodgy, and get good with a dive bomber to evade the weapons that they have on these ships. It's pretty neat, actually. Like when you say you fight against a ship more like this, you certainly. Oh God, the Tiger, HMS Tiger. It's a Belfast test sail. Things become very different when you fight against a ship like this.
Gunners are searching for airborne and surface targets.
Right? Like, it's so many different guns. Lots of detail on it, actually. It's kind of incredible. All the masts, different kinds of hedgehog mortars. I believe they try to be as accurate as possible. Pretty neat, huh? Soon I'm sure we'll have moving crews on the decks and things. I'm not even doing anything. The ship just destroying everything. Look how small the S-38 looks compared to this ship. It's just cool. I'm big. Oh yeah, I've got like 4 88s on the deck. Oh, but look, those are pretty big too. Those must be the Russians. Light cruiser? Oh boy. Well, that was really just to show it, but... Perhaps I could even show you some of this. The Scout. Oh, a little bit of helicopter action. War Thunder is trying to get into a little bit of everything, which I appreciate. As in, it's basically been a game about all aerial, land, and sea battles since World War II. Effectively, where the technology's taken it, missile systems, missile systems, and all that cool stuff. The evolution of combat as we know it. And I think they've done a really excellent rendition. And I mean, the helicopters, it's so good. It looks so detailed. It's just incredible. Soon they'll probably have like Hueys with infantry that you can land. And perhaps I'm just like getting a bit ahead of myself. But I'm very proud to have put in years of experience with a game like War Thunder, only seeing it just grow and become better and more detailed and become better still. So props off to the War Thunder and Gaijin crew. I think that you guys do an amazing job for a free-to-play World War II online simulator-ish kind of game. One of the best. In my humble opinion, of course. Red team go, red team go. Kind of neat, right? Everything opens up for you. It just looks so ready to go. It's so neat. Yeah. Mad props to the War Thunder crew. Great detail, great design. Looks great. Just, everything's just great. Everything's just so great. Whoa, maybe not though. Let's go land this guy and then. Oh, I don't know. Maybe a few more ground battles. Was considering even switching up to another game, maybe even Battlefield 5. But that's enough about that. This is a War Thunder episode. take the zippity gunboat out for a first drive. Kind of like this tank in particular is very outback. Every other tank basically in the game is much better than you are. But you do have your advantages. You're small, very fast. Basically have a bunch of machine guns you can forward face on. And then that's about it. You're certainly not going to survive very long. Howdy. Oh. I see that they're taking A base. So, what I was considering doing was being all ultra annoying and distracting them, because there could be a huge mob of them up here at A. While suicidal, if I basically try and stay out of the way, then they won't know, they might assume that I'm more than one, or just that annoying. We'll see. So there's a method to this madness. Pardon me, I'm not too sure if that repair is going to be worth it, being for that little machine gun, but we're going to find out. Distracted for a second. Ah, all's well. All's well. While still maintaining speediness, I'm going to go with the M2A4. A decent light tank, in fact. A 30mm cannon that it has, coupled with the speed, and basically three, like, not Browning machine guns, it's like L85s or some early version. But this tank, and I've seen it in a lot of other World War II games that I play, and in every game I'm always very impressed by this particular tank. It's a combat-worthy tank, even though it looks kind of fun. Easy pickings, so maybe not. Instead, look at all this. Serious action. That's a major tank battle and engagement that's going on right now. So, I quickly isolate who I can target. Some of those tanks are a little bit too heavy. He's not. Ooh, and that dang tree. An M1340 would have been a next high priority target. Too bad. Okay, back in action. Dang it, Bobby. Okay. Alright, there are more than one ways to scratch a cat. Oh, he's wounded over there too. He might be kicking back.
Most of the strategic zones are captured.
He's not having a good day. imagining many of them are setting up at A, probably perched, awaiting some kind of assault that might never come. High-travel roads, such as this back road right here, can lead to some pretty dicey situations. And if I can set up a particular kind of vector, then I can basically just keep shooting all these fresh new targets that come right my way. Which would be nice. It just saves me the time to find that. Hi. Ow. Use the brakes when you're dealing with American firepower. Just generally good for all situations. Maybe not the most armored, but I mean, obviously that was my counterpart. It's that they can even pretty much penetrate the Panzer IIIs and IVs. T-32s is pretty much where all the light tanks end, because in World War II, encountering a tank such as a T-32 or a T-34 effectively meant that you needed to effect at least double normal penetration just to get through the simple armor that it had on the largest, broadest surface of it. It was a brilliant design, coupled with the fact that it had a huge horsepower engine and a big cannon, was really only complementary to the fact, to the affect that it kept surviving in Vegas because it was so damn tough. You don't want to miss those ones. Get the ammunition rack. I'm not hitting those vitals. Here we go, boys. 5 of us on A here. And no one to be seen. Curious. I smell a trap. We gotta play it safe, boys. Attack Echelon Alpha on its way down. Oh, he's the guy who killed me last. He's got the skull beside his name. So, it's time to get some vengeance. Nice. Oh, he's done though. Dang. And goes in for a repair. It buys me time to get to the objective. I guess I'm not always as aggressive as I should be when I'm firing at tanks. kind of like habit, really. I've been killed way too many times just setting up and repositioning myself for like that perfect shot that it's like I really just take whatever I can and then I just get moving again, because as soon as you start moving, the shots that fire at you, they generally deflect easier and faster when you're not as static to the target. So I mean, I'm a bit more prone in predisposition as opposed to just jerking around and doing kind of crazy or twitchy even combat motions with the tank. Just as a sitting target, it's just too easy to kill majority of the time. And that's why I don't want to do it. Yeah, just not even for more than like 3 seconds actually.
We're winning.
The enemy is preparing for artillery barrage.
I used to play realistic battle mode for tanks almost exclusively, actually. A game that you couldn't see, you didn't have any of the heads-up features that like indicated where there was an enemy target. You didn't see any of that. You just saw where your friends were, and then the enemy tanks were obviously just the unlabeled ones that were running around, giving everyone a good degree of stealth in the battle. And I mean, that makes land battles, in my opinion, like the pinnacle of combat. But at the same time, like the casual feeling, most players, if you're not really too aware of what's going on, you're going to get annihilated by a sniper tank. So that's why I enjoy playing the arcade tank battles, arcade land battles. It's like a fair fight for everybody. Wow, that's a really ice blue SPU too. It's like amazingly blue. Not bad, 4 targets. Cool, and I unlocked a decal. Sweet. That's pretty much actually what I'm playing some of these early battles for. That you can unlock decal patterns. This guy's done. Right? Winter 20, but I had to kill a certain amount of players in order to unlock a lot of these decals. 30 players, I think, with this guy. Let's see where this guy's at. I think this guy's also done. Yeah. Oh, the Okinawa skin is something you can buy on the marketplace. Buy that one for 200 gold eagles. At the rate at which gold eagles are given and distributed in War Thunder, and the rate at which you could obviously buy them and how much they're worth, you know, if you're really looking to scoop up those, then sure, because they're awfully nice. I mean, you'll get recognized. But, pretty cool, huh? It's like coincides with Battlefield 5 and all that. Pretty neat. Nah, I mean, I really just enjoy the standard skins. If anything, it's just about unlocking all of the available skins that I have for, because I'm just a casual user, if you want to call it that. I've just been playing for years, but I don't really buy anything. I just play the game and enjoy it for what it is. It's like a arcadey simulator as much as you'd want to play it and tailored to you. But I mean, for the amount of players who still play this game and the amount of love that gets put into it, I mean, every battle is effectively a dicey battle. Every player is good. And it scales pretty effectively like that. It doesn't feel like it's usually just... Most of the games are pretty balanced. It doesn't feel like it's a complete and utter, like, shite show. So let me see this guy. This one's got all of his skins unlocked as well. Okay, so I'm really just putting around in the early battle ranking with these guys. Maybe I should up it a little bit. Use the M3. Modifications. Let's check the skins. Yeah, we're unlocked on this one too. M3 must have been pretty easy to get those things. Beautiful tank. The Stuart's an amazing tank. A quality or light World War II tank, in my opinion. The M22. I'm pretty sure that, okay, let's see what this guy's got going on. You can see that I've got a two-toned color scheme right there. Let's see how many decals I have. Tropical camouflage. Oh yeah, yeah. I've got a bit of unlocking. This guy is 120 kills, 130 kills in order, 120 kills to unlock the bicolor camouflage. 110 in order to unlock the tricolor camouflage. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna get some work done on that one. Just a neat way to kind of go back and play through some of the older vehicles that they might have in fact tweaked from before when you were playing it. So they added like new guns, new details, some interesting stuff to check out and just see what they did to the older, earlier battle rank vehicles. Always enjoyable to play. A 1.7 Stewart, M3A1, sure. Boot it up. M22. M2. Oh boy, that's a lumbering beast right there, isn't it? Cool. Probably one of my favorite light vehicles in the game. The half track is surprisingly durable in most situations. It can take a pummeling, and I mean, just 4 like M2 Brownings facing forward. It's a lot of boom. It's a lot of machine gun. Just constant barrage of fucking. Oh, pardon my lead. I meant. I didn't. Yeah. It's. Oh, there's only 2, by the way. There's only 2 big Brownings. Let's see actually what those guns are. M2 HBs. Yeah, I believe those are the Brownings. Pretty honking machine guns. Whereas this guy, kind of not my favorite battle tank. Let's just put it to that. But more reminiscent of a World War I battle tank, but the sponsoons on the side. And look how much ammunition this thing can carry. It's just a beast. Just a beast. The turret, it's, I don't know, what can I say? It's not exactly as reliable or as dependable as you might think, even though it's a big tank. The M22 is an amazing tank. Speedy, reliable, high firepower, just deadly all around. And this guy is just, as you can tell, it's like a gigantic recoilless. Not really. It's a 75mm artillery howitzer, forward facing, to be able to high penetrate any tank. And also, I believe you can use different types of ammunition with this one. That's right. Oh god, M48 high explosive fragmentation shells probably be quite lethal with this guy. So, it's something to look at when I get into the next game. I'm actually going to grab a cup of joe. I'll be right back. 2 minutes. I'm going to leave the stream on. In case you hadn't noticed by now, the color code seems a little bit backwards. The red that you might think is bad is in fact good armor. I just don't always use these additional modes to view things. And the green means what you would see if I were targeting, like if I were attacking the ship, the armor. But rather, I'm not attacking it, I'm using it. So, this guy actually might seem quite vulnerable, and he is. But the high advantages of the speed with that huge turret, by the way, which has the best armor, and he's already so low to the ground, make this target a particularly interesting tank to attack and to deal with. I'll show you. The M22 is amazing. There should be more World War II games with vehicles like this guy kicking around. He certainly, a vehicle like the M22 shows exactly why the M8 Greyhound was really just an interim idea, that there were certainly far better tanks than that. Naturally, I was trying to bait him back but I didn't quite make it in time. Little corner tactics there that you learn from other video games. I was totally trying to bring him out into the open for my buddies to shoot at, but he got me. It's okay. Coming right back. Now, another thing I just failed to neglect or failed to realize at that moment was that the artillery, the further you're away from the target, doesn't mean the wider spread. It just means, I think, the wider range where it's going to land. So you can't exactly guess where it's going to be. But once the pattern hits the game, like it comes in and it starts to attack in the game, it doesn't actually deviate from there. So it's not like a wider artillery spread overall. It's just a wider bullseye. Target range. So I could have totally just blasted your artillery off into a random direction with nothing. So I think it's wiser, obviously, to wait until you get close. However, on the ship modes, I mean, in the ship modes, your artillery feels so valuable anyway that you just drop it down and you basically watch it and the ships trying to get out of the way, giving you ample time to do all kinds of sneak trickery, tomfoolery, skullduggery. He's hiding that cover. Gotcha. Got the driver. Still has a gun. There you go. Angle it up just a touch. Oh no. I'm giving him precious time to repair. Oh, nice. Spot on. I can't believe it deflected. Again. That was a dicey one. He's a high priority. They're both 1v1s. These guys are terrible. French tanks, they're just so heavily armored. It's ridiculous. Look at that. There's a Stuka right there. He's just repairing. Oh, he's going to get him, too. Ho, 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 ho. Yeah. Yeah, those guys are a pain. Sweet. Oh, we gotta take that objective. Need more ammunition.
The enemy is preparing for artillery barrage. Repeat, the enemy is preparing for artillery barrage.
Oh, dang. Some carpet bomber came in and just laid waste to everyone anyway. Man, taking that base is going to be ugly. Okay, what do we got? Doesn't really even seem like there's much difference with these particular guns. And the M51 shot. I don't know. Seems to have something a little bit more going on than this guy, so let's up the munitions range. Take about, because ammunition can be set alight in this game, as in reality. In fact, if you can hit the ammunition rack, you can do a lot of internal damage. So, by limiting the amount of ammunition you carry, even though it shows that I've still got like all this ammunition out there, I don't know. I think that if you carry more, it probably just loads it up in the tank. It makes you basically an exploding time bomb ready to go. There's 4 machine guns that are active on this guy. He's got 2 backward facing and 2 forward facing machine guns. Just kind of neat to think about. It's basically, this is a World War I tank in the World War II era. And that's exactly what they were like. They had to mow down infantry that were trying to get around them the whole time. It was a truly harrowing experience to even imagine that, like, when you were inside those tanks, it was hell on earth outside. No doubt it was. Play around with these guys. I'm actually going in for another target entirely. Turn into the big gun. Not quite done yet. He was flipped upside down, I think. That guy's not having a good day. Let it fly by wire. Alright. It's time to slowly trudge my ass across the battlefield. I don't like to swear. There's no need to swear when there's more colorful and interesting words to choose. But, I mean, when you're driving this tank, I mean, try driving it in simulator mode and then tell me it's a clunker. This tank is not the greatest tank I've ever seen. You gotta love the forward-facing firepower of a bunch of machine guns, though. Ah, my favorite. Take a look here. I know it has 4 forward-facing guns, yeah. 2 in the nose, 2 in the wings. And though they're not exactly the heaviest caliber machine guns, their high rate of fire would just annihilate a tank like that, which it won't. Because he's just, you know, a poor boy from a poor family. That didn't stop the other pilot from getting it out. Nonetheless, you get a good bird's eye, obviously, of what the heck's going on. And you could mark it onto the map for your teammates and stuff. Be like, hey, there's 10 of them going to A.
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours.
This map certainly runs a lot better than some other maps. You'll see the jungle map that they play. There's this jungle map that's called Hawaii or something. I don't remember what the map's called, but it can run. It can run just so like clickety stuttery when you're up in the air. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. The M22. Probably my favorite of like the early battle rank. Probably just as funny to drive as these tanks. And these tanks are indeed hilarious to drive. These the BT5 and the BT7. In case you have never played War Thunder ever, these tanks are so bloody fast and quick and lightning, just super blitzkrieg wowza man. Like, to even imagine that some of the early German tanks had to compete against tanks like this. Like, the Russians had untold reserves of some of these early tanks, and in some cases, none of them. They were more concept than anything else. But this particular battle tank is a beast. It's just an excellent engine, chassis, really durable, super reliable, great turret, great armor. And I mean, like, when you're getting 60 kilometers per hour on like main highways or dirt roads or whatever, your tanks can just simply get to the locations before the enemy tanks, well before, and set up, take all the juicy positions. So if you ever encounter a BT5 or a BT7 in the battlefield, be sure to take heed. But as with all, I suppose, game experience, right? It's more just a paper, rock, scissors matchup. I mean, if you come up against a Stug 2, you'll know that their front armor is pretty much uncomparable to anything that you might have. And you're at a disadvantage. You'd have to flank them or go around somehow. And you'll encounter lots of those kinds of vehicles where they were actually designed to counter each other in a lot of different ways, even just philosophically, right? The Japanese, they didn't use nearly as much armor as the American planes did, and they got a lot of benefit and reward from that. A lot of excellent trim characteristics and qualities to the planes that the Americans didn't have until the Americans basically could afford and implement stronger or more powerful engines, bigger airframes, twin engines, different fighter topographies, basically superior pre-jet fighters that would take a horrific toll on trial and error. Whereas the Japanese were all offense. They all offense, speed, agility. They had unmatched fighter planes and pilots that were up until probably mid to late era of the war. As far as I know. Alright, looks like I'm sailing off into oblivion here, not really paying attention to the map, but we've got an objective we gotta take. Rolling in all backstands. Just sneaks it in. Definitely not trying to get a bunch of rear armor penetrations. Should drop more ammunition. Nice and sneaky. Nice and sneaky. Hi.
It's Sergeant Wright.
Oh. You got my gun. Alright, so the plan is basically to get the heck out of here. I got 4 tanks coming at me right now. Bad place to repair, Ripley. Oh boy. Oh no, my crew. Yeah, that didn't work so well. Too bad. There was also just too many targets to engage, and if I maybe were like back a couple of miles, it would have worked out. So, lesson learned. Even though I probably distracted about 8 of them, that wasn't exactly a winning strategy. So, next time, maybe we can take the M3 and go like up here. Or maybe that's even too close. Alright, so let's pull off the old M2. Derp our way down to the other end of the battlefield. Where does the driver sit in this tank? Oh god. The driver's probably got the best view in the house though. He's got all kinds of gun slits. SA-40 is a lethal French tank with 2 guns, including a howitzer mounted inside the main body of it that fires forward facing. Yeah, it's a double-headed monster, indeed it is. There's definitely nothing you want to tussle with forward facing than the whole piece of it. So, I mean, he had to do that in order to kill me, therefore exposing his rear. Hopefully someone took advantage. Yeah, those things are nasty. I think he needs to be a squatty in order to repair. That's too bad.
Requesting for artillery fire.
Enemy forces have captured the zone.
Attention, the designated spiderweb.
Bitters, my friend. Yeah, no, we don't quit around here. As the crew burns slowly into oblivion, we fight on. There's a number of ways you can put out a homemade fire, by the way. Think biological, then think mechanical. This is an Italian JU-87, by the way. You can tell by the tail markings, but that's just some War Thunder nerdery right there. Ouch. Valiant. Fight on, gentlemen, fight on. So as this battle actually carries on in real time, we go back to the menu. In the menu, you know, I can choose different game modes and whatnot. I can choose between land, air, and sea. And with War Thunder in particular, they continue to add all kinds of new content, including different battle modes, single-player missions, campaign options, different eras, Battle of Stalingrad Winter, Battle of Kursk. Just to show you, I'm not exactly interested in playing any of them, but I believe they even give you rewards. You get research boosts. Some of them even unlock different types of vehicles. They can be extremely hard, though. Like, you got to take off from an airfield and in realistic settings shoot down like 20 bombers. I mean, I don't really know how you do that. With limited ammunition, you got to be really, 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 really good with your bullets, stuff like that. And just getting things within the gold rating as opposed to silver in order to unlock more rewards. It's all so tedious. As I play a game where it's all about tedious grinding. No. Let me tell you, it isn't about the grind in this game. It's about experiencing, I suppose, using different capable vehicles against each other and kind of like occasionally being pitted up against vehicles that are way out of your battle ranking and actually doing surprisingly well against them. So there's always that. It's kind of fun. It's fun to just like find somebody who's clearly put money into the game and just absolutely take them to school, much to their chagrin. Wow. All right. Maybe I should have gone A. I bet there's probably about 5 or 6 of them going A. Hoping to get a recon count any second. Red team seems awfully slow, this one. There we go. B is where they all went. Or is that C? No, that was C. Yeah, so there's probably a massive wave of them down below in the trench. Which, if they did, that's not so smart. Because they're all at the lowest elevation on the battlefield, giving us the advantage at being that it's tank warfare. Alright, let's go hunting. I do have that really good cannon on this thing. Great for sniping. Nothing yet. Maybe they all really did go see. playing a little bit too conservative. It's Valiant. They've taken position up at the hill above C, which gives them excellent firing ranges at all A, B, and C. It's just, you don't want to cluster up like that. You don't want to cluster up like that. No. It's not good. It's not good to cluster up like that. Oh, no. It's not good to cluster like that. Nope. No, I can't. No, I told you guys. Cluster up like that, guys. Oh, alright. Or something. Oh boy, it's still there. Now I'm really jammed. Help. Help. I can't exactly get out of here. Full reverse. Oh, come on, little guy. Oh, I really wedged myself up on it now. Maybe I should just stay here. Just stay here and wait for anything to come out the gate. Aww. Yeah. It's actually a good position to just sit and chill. So I think just sitting here is probably ideal. I'm stuck. I'm stuck on a rock. I need help. Oh, that's not good. Just a little bit too high. Well, better I get me some points then. Stop pumping up, guys. Stop pumping up. Oh, Moser Dozer, thanks. It worked. I'm free. I'm free. But now I'm gonna get airborne, and now I'm basically an open target for anyone who's available. But the advice was well taken and well noted. Okay. Hawker Hurricane time. Hawker Hurricane. Lethal output, as you can tell, I've got 8 rockets. Now, he's fighting on the path of life for that. These guys, however, they're on the advance. Hit that guy pretty good, but guess what he's riding? He's riding the M2. That thing's a bloody shite box. Oh, baby. A triple. No, I'm just kidding. I got one. Woo-wee. That was nice. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. All right. Whew. What a glorious battle indeed. Pretty hairy there when I got stuck on the rock, but Moser Dozer came in with some solid advice. It worked out solid colors. Hey, check it out. I got a new camouflage painting for the M22. It's desert camouflage. Let's check it out. No, don't go to battle. Don't go to battle. Well, let's check it out after these messages. If you're new to the chill stream, this is just hanging out with Jake Sullivan, aka Pitch Silence, aka Epic Rants and Games. Just a lonely voice on the internet. reaching out a message across time and space of chill, love, waves, and just hanging out playing video games on the weekend, man. This game in particular, this game's called War Thunder. It's free to play on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and of course PC, where I'm playing it right now. So come join the fun. It certainly is. It's a turkey shoot all along. So you use a tank like the infantry steward, getting all speedy likes, and you move out into these. Going right is death, and going left is slightly slower death. But going right is definitely death.
Enemy forces have captured that zone.
Get that super high vantage point, that one that tanks scorn. They spurn from the depths.
Allied forces have captured the zone.
Here comes one. Oh god. I'm freaking out, man. Hey. Don't you do it.
The enemy controls most of the section of the zone.
I had to. Even though he was defenseless. And I apologize for that. I generally like to give people a good chance. But it's really more that I'm going to have his 8 buddies to deal with now that I had to do it for. And 3 stewards, man, they can just take a pummeling. Actually quite a large light tank. High, too. They've got a high elevation. And lots of nice machine gun spots. I don't know how many they actually made in wartime, or particularly how long the Americans were using Stewarts before they started to upgrade to not even necessarily the Sherman. They probably used all kinds of half-tracks and other kinds of light support vehicles in conjunction with the Stewart before they even really came up with the concept of the Sherman main battle tank. But anyone's guess at this point. I mean, I don't have the exact numbers, and I don't exactly believe in everything Google says enough to at least come up with an educated. Well then, I'm stuck on rocks again. There we go. There we go. Come on. Just scoot. Kind of. There we go.
Attack the A-point.
The enemy is preparing for artillery barrage. Repeat, the enemy is
Oh no! I was supposed to hit him with that one shot. Wow. He's a massive artillery gun. You think I stood a chance against that shell? Nope. Yeah, those guys are really soft targets, but they're actually quite a large tank, so they can survive most non-directed hits. You pretty much got to hit him in the ammo rack if you're going to try and blow that thing up in one shot. Speaking of which, that's a pretty accurate volley. Let's see how that works out. Oh look, we've got air company coming. On in a Spitfire. At least distract him long enough so he can't get an accurate bomb target. His buddy's gonna shoot me down in a second. He got my tail. I'm not really gonna be doing much. SU5. AMD 35. Next target. These are all light tanks that I'm shooting at with the possibility of penetration. Oh. Everything else is just too heavily armored to really do any significant damage. Maybe a tread. You can tell with this guy here. Like, look how many people are inside. This tank is absolutely a beast. Just a beast. Sorry, buds. I actually thought I would shoot him just before you move through. So he's an Italian tank, by the way. These tanks are... Yeah. Italian tanks are notoriously high-powered, high-armored, just good. So, anytime you face one of those guys, be aware that it's probably going to kill you. Yes, I can spell loser. I can spell with one O and not two there, Mosher Dozier. Nonetheless, though, I mean, I'm not exactly winning any battles with tanks that get stuck up on rocks and whatnot. Now, I could have used this guy, old smoke pole, but as you can tell, he's not exactly a tank. He's just a self-propelled gun. It leaves a lot to be desired when you're actually encountering other tanks. They can, if they get around you, like as you saw with that flak panzer there in the early part of the battle. I mean, I really had, with all my weapons and firepower, he was just defenseless against me mostly because of the open top, as you can tell. You're just shooting the gunners out of the aiming spots, and he won't even be able to fire a gun. So, we'll try again. We'll see what kind of. There's some cool desert maps actually that are great for long-range howitzer guns, like old smoke pole here. And if I were to get into a game like that, then maybe. There's even a few. There's a fortress map. It's like in the Karalis or something, like somewhere in Russia. It's kind of neat, actually. Like, it's the gigantic ruins of some old fortress that we fight in. There's like an old Wild West town in the United States somewhere. It's like in Arizona. That's one of the maps, with like 57 Chevys kicking around. It's pretty neat, actually. Okay, well, this is the different. This is like the Ukrainian town. Somewhere out in the plains of the Urals, we come into contact and we battle over this one point. And it's like pretty gothic architecture. I believe there's a church. There's lots of dugouts and trench works and stuff. Kind of neat. Hey, Ghost Fighter, I'm doing okay, man. How are you? Let's take the Steward out. Oh, okay, they want to give me the automatic tropical camouflage. Let's take the desert. Just try something a little bit new. Stand out. Be the unicorn of the battlefield. No unicorn. They all look the same. Oh, okay, well, it's kind of a tricolored camouflage. A little bit. Yeah, man, just chilling out with all my internet friends on a Sunday Funday, playing, or rather grinding at some War Thunder. Free to play on Steam or PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox 360, or any console that I think you can download it on, which you can, and we can play together. This game is in fact cross-platform. Church that I was speaking of. Oh, love those German tanks so much. No, not really, actually. They're such a pain. They got a high rate of fire, 30 or 25 millimeter cannon. Like, they could just unleash a volley of shells on you and do so much damage. They'll rip through any light tank, though. It's almost unfair, but there you go. They had this really awesome gun in those tanks. When you're up against a Lee, however, I mean, I've got a huge sloping forward-facing armor that generally survives against the most impervious attacks. No. It's alright. In the hustle and bustle of combat, he couldn't have known that I was trying to get shot at. Moving extra slow. Soon to be fixed. So as you can tell, it actually had to replace a few of the dead guys in the crew with some of the other gunners, so I won't have all my functioning weapons, I believe. Possible. Oh no, it looks like they're all there. Well, I don't know. But it's still cool though, they had to switch around some gunners inside there to accommodate that. Ammo racks on the other side. I can get a ricochet in there. I'm definitely trying to go free ammo though. Fastest way to a tank's heart. Okay, let's get aerial and see what's going on. Maybe mark off a few sniper attacks. Maybe they got a flanker going or something. I don't know. Some kind of trickery, skullduggery.
Attention to the map.
I didn't want to pass.
Allied forces have captured a zone. Keep it up and victory will be ours.
Oh no! That's what you get. That's what you get for trying to sail high into the sky. High into the sky behind enemy lines. Thou shalt not pass. Okay, let's see.
Hanno preso uno dei nostri.
Oh. Why, hello. I don't think they're very excited with me right about now, but that's okay. I'm easy to kill. See, look. GG. Sorry, the KABG is kind of one of my favorite planes, though. All I needed was one good burst for that gun. Well, that was no good. What do I think my team is going to need? Probably some air cover. Yeah, I think so. Also one of the biggest AA trucks, I believe, in the game. Everything else is really just a smaller truck or chassis. The Germans actually have some pretty decent anti-aircraft. The Americans, I mean, like, in terms of what you need, the rugged durability of an anti-aircraft truck, they got it going on. Half-track is definitely where it's at. Matt carries so much weight, a large cannon, and all that ammunition. You're not worried about much, except for worth getting shot. Moser Dozer suggests 10 best death shots. Mine. I think that could be some more of the internet clippings. I wonder who could possibly help me out with such things. But yeah, we could do top 20 most hilarious deaths with Benny Hill sounds in the background. Doodle-doo-doo. Do little like whistles and just silly stuff. Ghost Fighter 938. Okay, so what do I think of War Thunder so far? I remember started playing this game back in like I guess 2013, 2014, and it's come so far from where it started that I can play, like, generally the way I feel about this game so far is that it's pretty good. It could be so much more, and they're still trying to get into the whole World War aspect of gaming, like trying to get, I suppose, large scale, long-term battles that everyone can partake in. War Thunder, in my opinion, hasn't really reached that kind of. Then again, that's just the way I play, though. I just generally just play arcade battles. But I noticed they just really started the whole World War event. Like, they do a lot of events, which many players can join in. You get rewards and stuff. I'm just generally not into that. Like, it's usually with particular kinds of craft, and takes long queue lineups for certain battles and stuff. But how I feel about War Thunder is that it's doing just great, and it's only getting better. That they've combined all three battle modes into a stable game platform is pretty exemplary. I mean, why play World of Ships or World of Planes when you can get all three effectively in War Thunder? That's kind of how I feel about it. It does take War Thunder, in my opinion, it's one of these games where you can play for years, and I mean, I still have barely unlocked less than half of practically every faction's tech tree, and I mean, it's just. It only seems to be vastly increasing. Like, the more to unlock, more different types of vehicles and settings to explore and enjoy it for yourself. The World War mode is more geared to squadrons? I would assume so, yeah. And perhaps something that I don't exactly play all that often is with squadrons, and just enjoy the more casual feel of some of these kinds of. However, playing in arcade battles is the most repetitive gameplay in terms of, like, PvE, like the player versus the environment. Other than that, I do enjoy very much playing with other players. I would like to try World War, though. As it came out, I'm sure the hype is probably pretty high. With Ghost Fighter, do you have any feedback about the World War mode? Have you tried it? Is it enjoyable? Is it locked perhaps only in simulator or realistic or battle mode? Like, could I play it as an arcade player? Oh. All just long enough for my teammate, obviously, to get a good angle on. That's exactly why I do this. It might seem silly to the guy in Fire Blitz that it's like I'm not getting out of his view or anything, but I'm just creating the maximized window of opportunity for my ally to shoot him down, even if it is somewhat suicidal. But it's more a team effort, actually. When you're flying around, it's just so much organized chaos that it's like a miracle we're not smashing into each other half the time. Oh, they nuked their ships. Most of our ships are dead. It's okay. That's what I would do. You can get some pretty sneaky ribbons if you attack different variety of targets in certain battle maps. Ghost Fighter says it is realistic battle game mode, and the World War game in general is nothing special. Kind of figured. Yeah, kind of figured. If anything, I assumed that it was just going to feel more probably long range, like take off from airfield, get to objective, limited resources kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, you ask me how I think about War Thunder so far? That's generally my only hang-up, is that it's felt like the same battle experience, that it isn't necessarily as all-encompassing as, say, like, what would you call it? I don't even know, like domination mode perhaps in Battlefield, where it's like a series of games that get played, and that players don't exactly leave the game, they continue on to the next battle and the next battle. I suppose War Thunder could get into a different alternative game like that, and it could increase some enjoyment, give a more camaraderie sense of like team versus team, squad versus squad. That's not good. I gotta get out of here. I think. Or maybe that was an enemy guy the whole time. I'm not too sure.
Cover me. I'm taking damage.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of small battles and not just on one major game. Okay. Okay, smaller battles. Perhaps different, like, land, sea, air battles in conjunction with, like, the main operation kind of deal. I could see that as being somewhat enjoyable. At least the feeling of, like, the same team in multiple different games. Kind of like a Battlefield sense, instead of just rehashing and shaking up the players like it constantly does in War Thunder, at least in the arcade battle mode. I felt like if it played the same arcade battle mode with the same randomized players, and a more long-term style battlefield where the teams stay homogenized and stay together for like 3 to 5 rounds. Include that as a different game mode. I think we'd see some pretty interesting results. I don't think he's gonna get very far. Not if I can help it. Yikes. Oh, I didn't mean to drop it. You dead in the water anyway. Go out in a blaze of glory. Ouch. That's certainly a blaze of glory, alright. You know, one day War Thunder is going to incorporate a quality aspect of carrier-on-carrier battles with Navy battle groups, I'm sure of it, where you've actually got, like, you'll have to organize a kind of a armored escort and get the military vessels probably in a large-scale Navy map from A to B and try and simulate kind of running armada battles of the Pacific War. I'm sure that one day, like, War Thunder will definitely achieve that, where even players are taking off from the carrier decks. I can see it happening. It's going to take, at this point, a massive, probably rescaling of the carrier model that's already in game, as it's mostly just prop at this point. It's not actually a workable unit. But as soon as we can get it to like an actual usable unit in the game, then it just won't be as cool as it could be. But I feel like if War Thunder tried to explore that and was like actually having players like experience the whole getting up onto the top deck through like an elevator, and then their Corsair or something, the wings fold down and they like scoot off, or it taxis them into a particular direction, that would be like the bee's knees to me. Moser Dozier asks, how about mimicking real battles, Kursk or the Bulge? Absolutely. In fact, let me show you how I could do either one of those battles right now in a single player mission. Battle of Stalingrad, Winter, Battle of Kursk, which opens up let's just try it out actually. So the reward is pretty much the same for all of them. Simulator mode and realistic mode add a little bit more to the overall reward. But like, this is one basically battle out of like the whole operation that the game allows you to jump into. So just instant action, you know? And me and my IL-2 Ilyushin. An amazing plane.
слышу, повторите, прием. Доложите обстановку первый. Докладываю, следуем к цели.
Oh, really? I was just actually reading what you said, Ghost Rider. There's a commander element to World War II? That's fascinating. Ah. I actually think that that makes the whole World War II element worth trying. I do understand that it can be like a thankless job, though. I've played a game and shown a game called Heroes and Generals here, and I hear that being a commander in that game is particularly one of the hardest pro bono jobs to ever do in life. Because it's so much stress riding on like the whole game's campaign dynamic, depending on the general's decisions, and it can be pretty weighty. But that's cool, man. I think that really adds a lot of zest to an otherwise. Warthunder is pretty straightforward. It's really just a shooter game involving the vehicles of World War II and beyond. But trying to really diversify from that, I can understand it gets a little difficult, so I'm trying new things at this point. sent these guys back to the Stone Age. If we were playing, civilizations, I suppose I've just nuked all their trade ports or something to that equivalent, because these guys, the business end of this base is over and done with. Yeah. Primary objective? Retract off the front line. Well, I'm not quite done. Oh, look who's... Who is this? A brave pilot. You know who that is? That's one brave pilot. He's not giving up nothing. Boys, just a few. I mean, I hope my insurance covers it. Oh man, oh jeez, pretty exciting. Pretty sure that I'm okay though. Okay, I'm just trying to look down, look down, look down, look down. And my head wants to spring back up again. I don't really know what that's all about. Yeah, it's like some default kind of setting. Eh, well, no big deal. Those are the Tigers that I spoke of are now in pieces behind me at that airfield. And I mean, this battle here was like one stage of the curse battle that this game effectively lets you play. I do remember that the land battle maps, some of the tank battles back in the past, there was a cursed map and it was huge. The cursed map in this game was bloody awesome. It was great. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I'm not even too sure if they still have that map. Thank you very much, Mojo Dojo. I think the graphics look great too. Okay, so I beat that. Battle of Moscow, was that it? No. I did that in the most basic setting. Point of a spear. Alright, let's play the German side. So now I'll be doing some kind of action with a Ju-87. And these are all single-player missions with the AI. As you can tell, it doesn't really require much to shoot these guys down, whereas players are trying all kinds of sneaky things to get out of your gun sights. that wasn't supposed to happen.
Schwarm, bitte um Statusmeldung. Ja, ist gut. Zeit und dir stimmt. Und Sie?
Not too sure what there is else to blow up at this point. I think I've eliminated everything for the tanks. There we go.
Funktest. Die Verbindung reißt noch. Noch einmal bitte. Funktest. Schlechter Empfang. Ende. Bodenkontrolle, verstehen Sie laut und klar. Ende.
That was skill testing and revealing of the inner qualities of one's. No, I'm just kidding. That was boring. That was So anyway, I don't really like to play the single player missions, but nonetheless, there they are. There's dynamic campaigns and other kinds of cool features to the game, which allow for a richer experience. But I mean, Casey had noticed most of the single player campaigns and battles are just like do X, Y happens, big dogfight, get back to base. Kinda eh. Now let's see. Let's go back to the higher battle rating. Oh yeah, I forgot about you. Nah, I'll take you instead. Okay. Alright guys, just give me a moment. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go fetch something. Be back in a minute.
はっきり聞こえます。よく聞こえません。もう一度言ってください。無線をチェック。聞き取りにくいです。どうぞ。無線をチェックする。話してくれ。はっきり聞こえます。
Okay, so close, but definitely no cigar. All right. I think that's gonna be it for the stream for now. Thanks to all my guests that showed up: Ghost Fighter, Moser Dozer, St. Louis X50. Thanks, guys. I appreciate the looksies and just hanging out for the day. I might shoot a stream up later, but I'm gonna take a bit of a break now and definitely check the analytics and the settings and try and calibrate it to get you a better streaming experience. Top-notch quality 1080p gameplay streamed live to the web. This was War Thunder. I might bring you later a different game, perhaps later. Maybe something from the Vietnam era, perhaps. Oh, can you say Huey gunship combat pilots? But perhaps, possibly. Either way, thanks for showing up, guys. Take care.